The revolt of 1857 kindled an urge in the Indians to become free. The Indians had realized that there were several social ills in the Indian society that divided it and kept it backward, and was the main reason for the sad state of India and its people. The educated Indians realized that removal of outdated Indian customs and superstitions were necessary for the progress of Indian society. Several social reformers like Raja Rammohan Roy, Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar, Dayanand Saraswati and Syed Ahmed fought against these evil practices and believed that the condition of the Indian people will improve only if they are educated. The revolt of 1857 made the people realize the injustice of British rule and the value of freedom. Educated people understood the motive of the British and became highly dissatisfied with them, and thus they started forming institutions and associations of their own in order to draw the attention of the British rulers to their problems. Some Englishmen also supported these educated Indians in forming associations, and thus the Indian National Congress was formed by H.O. Hume, a retired ICS officer, in 1885. The first president of Indian National Congress was W.C.BANNERJEE. The first session of the Indian National Congress was held in Bombay, now Mumbai. After that, they met in different cities every year. Initially, their main demand was to bring reforms so that Indians could lead a more free and better life under the British. Some of the important leaders of the Congress were Dadabhai Nauroji, Gopal Krishna Gokhale, Madan Mohan Malviya. They believed in the method of patience and persuasion and thus were called moderates. Some leaders of the Congress preferred a stronger and a more active opposition to the British. They wanted Swaraj or self-rule for the Indians and were referred to as extremists. Some important extremist leaders were Lala Lajpat Rai, Bal Gangadhar Tilak and Bipin Chandra Pal. Together, they were also referred to as Lal, Bal and Pal. Lokmanya Tilak declared, "Freedom is my birthright and I shall have it." He wanted to arouse the feeling of patriotism in Indians, and thus he started a newspaper called Kesari, in which he spoke out against the British, for which he was arrested many times. The growing feeling of nationalism worried the British, and they thought of dividing the Indians on the basis of religion. So in 1905, they decided to divide Bengal into two parts, one for the Hindus and the other for the Muslims. The partition of Bengal enraged the Indians, and it gave rise to the Swadeshi movement. Swadeshi means own country. People pledged to use goods made in their own country and boycotted British goods. Bonfires of British goods, especially clothes, were made at several places. Women and students also participated in the movement. It started in Bengal but soon spread to other parts of the country. The British tried ruthlessly to suppress this movement but were unsuccessful and were forced to reunify Bengal. After the partition of Bengal, several young Indians started using violent means to fight the British and were willing to sacrifice their lives for the sake of the country. They were called revolutionaries. Some important revolutionaries are Aurobindo Ghosh, Khudiram Bose, Chandrasekhar Azad, Bhagat Singh, Sukhdev, Rajguru and Udham Singh. The movement was, however, not successful because their violent means of protest were not supported by the masses. In 1914, when the World War I broke out, lakhs of Indian soldiers fought and thousands laid down their lives for the British. Indians thought that the British would be more sympathetic towards them after the war. But the British became more harsh. They imposed many fresh taxes to recover the losses they suffered in the war, and the lives of the Indians became worse. In 1915, while the World War I was still going on, in 1915, while the World War I was still going on, Mahatma Gandhi returned from South Africa and took over the leadership of the independence movement going on in India. The story of the fight for freedom does not end here. The story will continue. Thank you. Have a nice day.